I am moving to Japan. Welcome back to episode 6 of the podcast. So, I'm moving to Japan for university studies, and I won't go into much details, but basically, I'm gonna be staying there for 4 years, and then I'll decide whether should I go back to my home country or not, which is probably the case because Japan is unfortunately a country with introverted people. And I want to be able to have a small talk with the shop owner from the local market, stuff like that. So I'll just go there, study, and then come back. Most likely that will be the most likely like the case, you know. So I'm gonna be flying very soon, around no not 4 weeks, so around a month from now I will be flying, and then there will be a video about it. It will be an episode. I think it might be episode 10 or 11. I think I failed math class subject. It's so hard. So here's a little fun story. So I am actually like don't really want to go into the course that I'm going right now. I don't want to say it because privacy stuff. So basically, I'm going into. You know what? I'll just say it. I am studying for international relationships, and honestly, I don't really like enjoy that much of the debates of countries, stuff like that. My real passion is to draw for the rest of my life, especially like just draw on a blank piece of canvas with oil paint. That is like the best media for drawing ever. No one is arguing with me with that because it's subjective on which media do you like the most, acrylic, water paint, stuff like that, you know and just gonna go on a little rant about oil paint real quick. So I only like discovered oil paint 2 years ago, and before that I used acrylic and watercolor. And like the moment I discover oil paint is a thing, dude, it's so fun. Like oil paint is so fun, and that is why even though like I'm drawing it digitally, I will use the oil paint brush. And fun fact, I only use one layer for the coloring. Well, apart from some cases where I would rather do it separately, but otherwise, all the illustration that you saw on the thumbnail, it's all one layer. So I just paint over everything. Kind of like how I do it physically. Just keep painting over and over and over. But you know, for physical form, like the physical painting for the oil paint, you really can't paint it over and over again because the paint is wet, and it took like fucking 5 years or something to wait for the paint to dry. So that's why my art teacher discouraged me to use it, because it's basically like a free excuse to, like, oh, sorry, I can't work, or like I can't complete the deadline because oil paint won't dry up. They hate it when I say it like that. But you know apart from like the excuse, it is really fun. If you are into painting and you haven't tried oil, I highly recommend you try oil once, just to see maybe you will like it. And I think Bob Ross also used oil paint in his painting, but I think he used a different type. I think, like, I feel like the one I use and the one he used is not the same. I'm not sure how, but yeah, because like if you looks at it, oh my god, I can't speak. Look at his video, like he can kind of, like, how do I say it, wash off the oil paint, which you could not do it with normal water. I'm not sure if he used like the solutions for the oil paint especially specifically, or is it just water that he used to wash off the paint. But basically oil paint, you really can't wash it with water because it's oil, and you need a special solutions. And when like you get some oil paint on your skin, I won't recommend you like trying to rub it off because it'll just get worse. Speaking from experience, just like just use dishwasher, like the soap you use to clean your dishes. Just use that to remove the oil paint. I think that is the best way to remove any oil paint from your skin. Well, that's just oil paint. But going back to what are we what were we talking about? Oh, talking about Japan, yeah. The international relationships. So the reason I choose this one instead of art is that I kind of like discover myself too late on the passion that I like for art. So I discovered it like so I started drawing 3 years ago, and I start taking art seriously 3 years ago too. So it's like I started too late for art, because by the time I discovered that I like art, I was like already 16 or 15. No, I think it was 16. So, you know, oh, I kind of review my age there, but it's fine. So, what I'm trying to say is that I discovered art too late, and I feel like my skill is not up to standard yet for like to enter the art university, you know. And I just feel like if I try to go into art university with only 3 years of experience, then I will get rejected and I will be universityless, which is what I don't want to do. So I decided to join international relationships instead, which is not that bad. Like it's not like I'm joining international relationship because I don't have any other choice. I join it because I actually like enjoy meeting with new people, especially like people from different backgrounds. Like when I'm in an event, I like to get to meet new people and just get to learn about them, like how they think, what they do, stuff like that. And oh yeah, so that was one time. I won't get into much details, but basically that was one time I was selected to do like a cultural exchange program for the government. So hee hee haha. Um, I got some. I don't know why they choose me. Honestly, like I feel like I am the worst options that they could choose because like there only is like seven, seven how is it, 7 kids. Well, it's from 13 to 25. So like teenagers, there only is like 7 teenagers from the entire like country. So I'm kind of like confused on why they choose me because I feel so undeserved. Like the only thing that I feel like I am slightly better at is just speaking English. Otherwise, I can't do anything else. But I guess I was just lucky. Well, so yeah, basically I got like some portfolio and some background of like doing some cultural exchange stuff, doing some public speaking that so I am fine with how do I say it? I'm fine with like talking. No, I'm fine with the subject of international relationships. Okay, now I think you guys gonna think that I'm lying because I'm fumbling so much to speak on a fucking podcast, but that's just how it is. So we're gonna go back to the Japan thing now. So I'm gonna be there for 4 years, and I think the I'll have an episode where I'll post it where I'll just be like, "Yo, I'm in Japan right now." But that episode probably will be recorded on my home country because once I got there, I'll have to do like a lot of paperwork. It's actually crazy, like how many paperwork I need to do for just residential card, like temporarily residential card in Japan. And I was kind of expecting some paperwork, but I was not expecting this much. So yeah. Well, but luckily, like the visa, they're applying for visa thing. The university they already got like an agent to do that for us, so it's not that much of a hassle. But still, like the paperwork, all the signing, all the stuff that they ask, is wow, just wow. Like they ask for so much. So I was talking to my friend earlier today, and they pointed out a really like a good point. Like they point out something that kind of got me concerning, and that is roommates. So I'm gonna be sleeping in the university dorm, and they point out that why would you choose a shared room? So the university, like they allowed us to choose between single or duo. So single is you just stay alone, and duo is you live with a roommate. And they were like, dude, why didn't you choose single? And I was like, oh, I want to get to meet new people, and having a roommate is kind of like you are basically forced to be friends with each other, which is good. But then they say that what if you like got a roommate that is like a creep or like just a really weird guy, and that kind of like backfired on me when I said you are forced to be friends with them because like you're basically stuck with that creepy roommate for 4 years. So that kind of like that kind of make me realize that, oh shit, I'm gambling my next 4 years on whether I'm with a cool person or a fucking weirdo. And I don't want a fucking weirdo, Like I hope that my roommate is chill, but if my roommate is a weirdo, then I think I'll give you an update. But basically, just is a gamble, and kind of scary, kind of scary. And yeah, that's just the big announcement. I don't have a lot to say this week. Not a lot of big life updates. It's more of just like preparing to fly to Japan, and just settling in. I think. Oh yeah. So here's like something that I am like thinking a lot, which is like my future job. Obviously, I'm not gonna do YouTube full time unless I get like 10 million subscribers or something. So like this YouTube thing is just like a side hustle that I'm gonna do just for fun. Like it's like a diary that I can come back and listen to. Since it's like only one episode per week, it's not that much of an effort to draw and record. So the YouTube thing is gonna keep going, but it won't be my main job. And like to think about it, like international relationship. Once you're done, like what are you gonna be? It's probably like diplomat or something like that, which is not that bad. I mean, you work and you fly all the time, which is really fun. I feel like it's really fun, but I'm not sure. I never experienced that, so I think it's fun. I think because you get to fly to like multiple countries, you get to travel a lot. But then once you think about it, like what about your wife and what about your kids? Because I want a kid, like saying it is kind of like shy, kind of shy. But basically, like, once you think about it, like what about them? Like you can't just be thinking about yourself. You have to think about your partner and your kids too. Like if the father constantly fly and is not present, especially like for like babies and childrens, like when they're still like toddlers and still learning things, like that might like that might lead them to not having like a father figure, and I don't want to be that type of dad who just left for milk. So I am thinking a lot on like, should I be a diplomat? I'm not sure if I'm using the correct words, diplomat. Like that, I'm not. English is not my first language, so it's the only word that I know that I think means relationship with another country. I think it means that, but if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I don't know the name, but going back to it, like, flying a lot, you are basically like, it's either you bring your wife and kids with you or you leave them. And dude, that is not that cool. Like, I mean, it's a like, if your job is required you to go and fly, I mean, like, that is understandable, but you know for a job like this, I feel like you have to fly constantly, and you won't be spending a lot of time with your family, which is like, that is just kind of like selfish in a way. But like, it's your job and you're forced to fly, so it's either you leaving them at like a certain spot, or you take them with you. But then if you take them with you, like, I mean, the wife is, I feel like the wife can adjust. But what about the kids? Like, what about the kids? Like, will he get to make like a strong relationship with her friends? Like, will he be awkward because he constantly have to change school, stuff like that? And I don't like, and that got me thinking. Like, that got me thinking a lot on, okay, do I want to be a diplomat in the future? Again, I don't know if I'm using the right word, but yeah, that got me thinking. Like, do I want to be a diplomat? Because like, diplomat, they get paid a lot, for just speaking, basically. And do I want that sacrifice, like your kid, basically sacrificing your kids' childhood for money? And that is not really worth it. And like, the worst case is that they stay at one place and I just go and come back. But okay, this gonna sound really foolish and really silly, and I think I just watched too many dramas. I don't want to say it because it sounds so silly, and I am really shy about it. I'll just say it indirectly, and you can interpret what I'm trying to say. If I leave a lot, will my wife go dot 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 something dot 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 and dot 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 split? I think you get what I'm trying to say. So that is something I fear a lot. Why am I saying this, bro? So yeah, it's just it's a really scary future to think about. You know, like, my dream job is just to paint and then sell my painting. That's it. But unfortunately, I can't. Well, I don't know. Like, I will still draw. I will still draw. Like, even in university, I will still draw, but maybe not as much as now, because university I have to do university works, and I have to keep my grades up because I got a scholarship. So yeah, I didn't mention this, but I got a 50% scholarship. So they want my GPA to be, excuse me. So they want my GPA to be quite high. So I'm not sure if I will be able to draw as much as I am now, and I'm still in high school. So like, near the end of the high school, so I have quite a lot of free time, you know. So that's basically like I want to draw, but I'm not sure if I will have time to draw. But maybe like maybe I'll get to draw. And especially, I feel like being an artist in this kind of age is not that good, and it's probably because of AI too. But that there's a trend going on right now with the no more AI slop, which is good. I like it. But you know, art with AI generating like picture instantly, it's it sucks. Like I feel like it's just not really stable, and in the end, it's I think I'm yapping too much on my personal life, and I don't know if you guys want to hear it or not. But since you click it anyways, I feel like you are signing up for this. Well, I think I'm just gonna. Oh my god, I can't speak. I'm just gonna wrap it here. Thank you for the support from the previous video. I love you guys. See you next week.